This movie may have been my favorite Dylan O'Brien project yet. Welcome back to the 25 Days of Media You May Have Missed, the series where I'm bringing you through every piece of media that I think didn't get enough attention this year. We're doing books, movies, television shows, and last we just went through The Girlfriend on Prime. But today I want to talk about Twinless. Twinless was a movie that was on a lot of people's radar prior to this year because it originally premiered for Sundance. And because it was a part of the Digital Sundance Film Festival, we did have an issue where we saw parts of that film leaked online, and I was really frustrated by that. But a little bit of time passed and we did finally have the wide release of this film this year. And I think it was in theaters for such little time that despite having a major star like Dylan O'Brien in it, it didn't get a ton of attention in a way that I really think it should have. This movie tracks the relationship between Roman, Dylan O'Brien's character, and a character he meets named Dennis. Now these two characters actually meet in a grief support group for people who have lost their twins. And this is the type of movie that really follows the idea of a grief journey in a very interesting way, and also plays with a huge theme of loneliness and what it can do to a person, and what we'll do to other people as we desperately search for connection. I think this movie does an incredibly good job of balancing both of those things, presenting you with characters who have these very deep wounds, and also really genuinely pushing the limits of what you believe is an acceptable way to behave, and what you as an audience member are willing to forgive a character for doing. I don't want to get into any big spoilers here, but I genuinely think that if you've ever experienced losing someone close to you, or if you've ever experienced a sense of loneliness or a lack of belonging in the world around you, these two characters and their journeys will really speak to the emotions that you've gone through personally. For me, as someone who's experienced both, I thought that this movie did such a good job of kind of exploring the idea of identity and how it changes when you experience loss, and what it's like to try to figure out how you fit in the world after you've lost someone that you feel like your identity is so tied to. And also just genuinely the idea of what it's like to want to belong in the world and maybe feel like you're being rejected by it. I think this movie is genuinely funny in ways that you would not expect a movie dealing with this type of subject matter to be, and it's funny in a way that feels respectful to the storyline and the type of material it's dealing with. Additionally, one of the biggest stars that comes out of this movie for me is James Sweeney. He not only plays one of the lead characters, Dennis, but he also wrote and directed the film, and it is the type of powerhouse that I cannot wait to see what he does next. Other big names and faces that you might recognize in this movie include Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls, Chris Perfetti from Abbott Elementary, and Francois Arnaud, who's currently playing a hockey player in Heated Rivalry. For me, I think this is one of the must-watch movies of the year, and one that hopefully we'll be discussing when it comes time for award season, and also one of the most original films that I saw this year. So did you see Twinless in theaters? Did you hear about it before the movie came out? Or if this is the first time you're hearing about it, will you be adding it to your watch list? Let me know, and be sure to follow along for the rest of the 25 Days of Media You May Have Missed.